Thanks for tuning in. Your barbershop sports talk.
Jonathan Taylor. Should he get some MVP / Offensive Player of the Year votes?
Yeah, and if you don't win MVP, usually the guy that puts up the best offensive stats, or usually Offensive Player of the Year, unless there's two really good quarterbacks that had historic years. Usually that Offensive Player of the Year is code for best non-quarterback. Now, I think Jonathan Taylor should get a couple of MVP votes. Take a look at the last 6 running backs to win the MVP. Jonathan Taylor, you take those 6 running backs. So Peterson, LT, Sean Alexander. Take those last 6 running backs to win the MVP. Take their average season that they put together in their MVP year. Rushing yards, touchdowns, total touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor's basically right there. And he has 3 games to go. I think he has 19 touchdowns this year, 18 of them rushing, 1,500 yards. He's right up there with guys that have won the MVP at running back. So I think he should get some MVP votes, especially if Indianapolis could close the season strong and make the playoffs after starting. I think they started off like 2-4, and then they really got going, and it was really because of Jonathan Taylor. And he has picked up the slack for Derrick Henry being out as that premier running back in the NFL.
How comparable?
Carried the ball today, 29 times, $170, which is dominant, but he's been dominant for the last 2 months.
How comparable is Jonathan Taylor to Derrick Henry?
Well, they're different in their games because Jonathan Taylor could beat you with speed. He's 230 pounds. He's playing track at Wisconsin. So he's not that brute physical runner that just beats you down. He does do that a little bit. But the thing with Jonathan Taylor is you might play the run well 9 out of 10 times, like the Patriots did for the most part. But that 10th time, he could bust it for 70 yards. And he's also dangerous in the passing game. So you could throw screens, checkdowns to him, and when he gets that ball in space, he's back to being a running back again. So he can also catch the ball in the backfield too. So he kind of does that where Derrick Henry is just pure physicality for 4 quarters.
What does Jonathan Taylor have to do to win MVP? What would he have to do down the stretch?
Yeah. So it's going to be tough to beat, probably Brady and Rodgers for MVP. But I think, if the Colts happen to win the division and if Taylor just keeps up what he did yesterday, so if he just keeps up 170 to 200 yards rushing and gets those touchdowns. I think if he could get to maybe like 25 touchdowns, I don't know if he'll get the record, but I think if you start getting up, he's got 3 games to go. If he starts getting up into that, 25, upper 20s range for touchdowns as well, I think he'll begin to, get some votes. But to win the MVP, he's still kind of behind in the Vegas odds. I think he would have to have just win the division, upper 20s touchdowns, 2,000 yards. Still an award that's rigged for